Good morning. Steve Weber here, the host of the American Gumption Morning Show, and welcome to another day. What is it? Tuesday, December 22nd. Oh, hey, it's that time of year when we go from the shortest day to starting back to the longest day. So a special day on the calendar. And of course, it's Christmas week, a short broadcast week. Although I'm busy all week long, but I'm going to share that in a minute, what I'm doing. But only doing live American Gumption shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll do today's show, tomorrow's show, and then next week we're going to do 4 shows. So I'll tell you about that in just a minute. Alrighty. So today, exciting news. Shaman Isabella returns. 2 weeks ago, she was on the show and she did a great job. And we're going to continue the conversation. So she's going to join us at about 15 past the hour, and we'll just jump right back into that. Now, let me tell you about what's coming up, tomorrow and then next week. And I'm going to share with you what I'm doing on Thursday and Friday, because I got a busy couple of days but I'm not going to be broadcasting here. So let me tell you about that. So tomorrow, though, first, Nikki Roscoe is joining us. She comes back for the 5th time. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and some Christmas songs and a Christmas meditation. So that'll be tomorrow's show. She'll be joining us at about 15 past the hour. The first few times she came in at about half past the hour, but she'll be coming in and joining us, and we'll have fun with that tomorrow. All righty. Then now Thursday, I'm going to do a screen share here. Thursday, I've got kind of a fun thing happening. I am going to be I'm going to be hosting a Zoom meeting with my first cousins. So one of my cousins said, hey, let's get together. And so anyway, it just sort of happened. But this is my grandmother sitting on the couch in the center. And then my mother is directly to her left. And then my mother's 6 sisters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 sisters, and one of her 2 brothers. One of the brothers isn't there. But anyway, out of those 9 siblings, there was 31 kids. So my grandmother had 31 children. So I'm one of those 31. So that means I have, excluding my cousin, I got like 20 from that side of the family, plus the 5 that were in our family. So 31 grandchildren. Anyway, we're going to have a Zoom meeting. We don't expect everybody to be there, but we're thinking at least 10 and maybe 15 people. So that'll be fun. And we've kept in touch a bit over the years, but we've never done anything like this. And so in the year of Zoom, we're having a Zoom meeting. All righty. And then that's on Christmas Eve, I'm going to be doing that. So that's a private event. That's just family. I'm just sharing that. And then on Friday, we're going to, Spirituality Gone Wild is doing a 12-hour marathon. So it's called Jolly Gone Wild. And we say no one should be alone for the holidays. So if you have 10 or 15 minutes where you feel like you want to jump in, or if you have a few hours, come join us. And so the different hosts, co-creators of the different shows will be each taking segments of the day, and it'll go from 11 to 11 on the East Coast, or 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the West Coast. And let me throw up the link here. You can see it. Let's see, did that do it? I think that does it. So that's Shaman Isabella's announcement. Oops, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. Now, did that do it? Where am I at here? Huh. Why is it not showing up? I'm not sure. I'm confused. Oh well. Anyway, there it is. I'll figure this out, and I'll put the link in the show notes. So anyway, Jolly Gone Wild. That's on Friday, and that is going to be, like I said, an all-day Christmas day. If you're going to be alone, we don't want anybody alone. Come join us, and we'll have some fun with that. All righty. Now, that So then, okay, so that was Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow, Nikki Roscoe. Thursday and Friday. Friday's the Christmas event. Oh, there it is. Now it's up there on the screen. I'm Jolly Gone Wild. And it's spiritualitygonewild.com/jolly-gone-wild. And that's how you can participate. You'll just get a Zoom link and you can jump in anytime during the course of the day if you want to visit. And we'll have a schedule posted of what's going on, so you'll be able to see that. I'll be hosting the first 8 hours of it. So I'll be kind of at the top of the hour as one person transitions out and a new person transitions in. So that's on Friday. All righty. Very good. Now, Monday, Brandon Schaefer on Monday, not on Tuesday for a 2-minute segment. Brandon Schaefer for the entire show, 45 minutes of an interview. I get to pepper Brandon with questions, and we'll talk about motivation and inspiration and about, what your plan is for 2021. And we'll probably throw in some technology, maybe a little bit of geek talk too, connectivity of technical stuff, which is what, Brandon's business is all about. So that'll be next Monday, the day we come back after Christmas. And then on Tuesday, Della Futui, she is a broadcaster, kind of like me. She has 5 shows she does. She has 5 regular shows that she's doing. So she's going to share how, she's like a professional broadcaster, turned gone wild, a professional broadcaster gone wild, all as a result of COVID and, kind of changing the way we're all doing business. So that'll be next Tuesday. And then I just found out on Thursday, we have an actor, a real live Hollywood actor coming and joining us. And so I'll fill you in on the details of that tomorrow. So that's going to be kind of fun. All righty. That's it. Now it's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Let's see. If it's Tuesday, we know what that means. We know what that means. Tuesday is I'm still figuring stuff out here. I got to remember how to operate this thing. Here we go. Tuesday. Brandon Schaefer.
Hey, Steve. Good morning. How are you today? Fine, sir. Love to see your smiling face first thing on a lovely Tuesday, every Tuesday.
Yeah, except next Tuesday, you're not going to be coming. But you could still come, but you're coming Monday for the whole show. We're going to get down into the nitty gritty. We're not just going to get a small dose of Brandon. We're going to get a big dose of Brandon on Monday. So that's exciting. So we'll decide if you want to come back on Tuesday, but I'll give you the day off if you want.
I don't want a day off, man. My foot is on the gas. My left foot's on top of my right. I keep pushing harder and harder and harder. I'm switching from 5th gear to 6th gear, from 6th to 7th, and I'm running out of gears. So we're going to have to create some new ones, and that's part of progress right there.
Very good. Well, what do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, so for today, I want to talk about just being impactful, right, with our activities. And I know it's sometimes around the holidays, we can kind of get in this little funk where we say, oh, well, everybody else is off, and I'm going to take off. And I'm exactly kind of opposite. I'm more push forward. And I think I saw when I jumped on here that you're doing an event over the holidays. When is that event, Steve? If you can jump back on real quick.
Yes, it's actually going to be on Christmas Day. And the idea being that Debbie G said, we don't want anybody to be alone for the holidays. It's a weird year. People aren't going out. And so she invented this idea that we're just going to be 8 hours or 12 hours on broadcasting, and the different host creators will be taking little segments and doing different things. And it's just like, hey, if you want to jump on and have some community, you can do it. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I love that. And that ties it exactly what I'm talking about today is being impactful, right? Being impactful, leaving an imprint in people's lives, being available for people that are in need. So I love that. I'm actually going to jump on there on Christmas Day with you for a little bit, Steve. I'll come and join and have a glass of apple juice or orange juice or anything with your team and so forth and come and listen. But that's what I'm talking about, being impactful, right? Is your daily activity or what you're doing today moving you closer or further away from your goal? Now, I'm not saying anything that you've probably never heard before that somebody else hasn't written in a book somewhere along the lines. I'm just reiterating and helping you remember what's important. So for me, I used to wake up in the morning and I would just start fluttering, right? Because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a directive on what I wanted to do. And once I got that directive, I just wrote down maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 things that I wanted to do during that day that were going to help me move closer to my goal. It was like having directions to my mom's new house. You know, if she doesn't give me the directions, I'm never going to make it there. You know, so I'm aiming for a point, but I don't know where that point is. So I'm just circling around the earth. You know, so get specific with your actions and make sure that they're impactful and you're spending the most use of your time or best use of your time so you can accomplish the most in the least amount of time. That's what I have for you today, Steve. And I'm not yelling and screaming. It's progress. I'm getting there, though. You get me? Once that engine starts going, all hell starts breaking loose, man. So
I love, though, what you talked about, writing things down. Isn't it amazing how when you write something down, you don't even have to look at your list anymore. And you look at the list at the end of the day and it's done because, you committed to it. Just that little tiny bit of commitment.
Steve, the power of taking a pen or pencil, I don't know where the camera is here. The power of taking a pen and pencil and actually writing it down, it cements it into your brain. It really, really does. Even when I watch your show here, I'm going to stay on for a little bit here. And I usually stay on. I'll always take a notepad and write down 2 or 3 golden nuggets that I get from it. Otherwise, it's just going to pass through. I don't want this to be a season. I want this to be an imprint. And then I go back and I circle and then I write blog posts about them. I write stuff that I learned. I'm not copying anything. I'm just creating basically content based upon what I learned from listening.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. I see your content daily on LinkedIn, articles, little pictures, little images with graphics on it. I mean, you're a creative machine and you're inspiring. And it just picks me up when I see it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I look forward to being here on Monday. Come back and watch. Come back.
Good. We'll see you guys. We'll see you on Monday, and maybe we'll see you on Christmas Day.
I'll see you on Christmas. I'll stop by. I'll stop by and
Jolly
support.
Going Wild. Here, let me throw that up on there one more time. We'll do the promo. Where is it? There it is. Jolly Gone Wild. Come join us. Spirituality Gone Wild / Jolly-Gone-Wild. Sign up. You'll get a Zoom link and you can join us, everybody. So
cool. I'm going to do that right now, Steve. It's great having you on.
Brandon.
Thank you.
See you next week. Great. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
There you go. And again, Jolly Gone Wild. There's that. I'm going to have to put that in the show notes, and so that you can, easily grab it. I'll go ahead and do that in just a second. And then, but it's basically 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. West Coast time, or 11 to 11. Come join us throughout the day. You'll be able to see a lineup of what's going on. You can see who your favorite hosts are and come back and join then. I'll be, for the first 8 hours or so, I'll be the host, introducing each hour as it comes and goes. And I might even do a segment myself. I'm seeing there's a couple open segments, so I'll plug myself into one of those during the course of the day. Alrighty, that's that. Great. Well, thank you. And then Brandon Schaefer, his business, simplebusinesshelp.com, simplebusinesshelp.com. He and his team, they help you connect different technology pieces. You got an accounting package, you got a CRM, you got different things that they all do something individually, but you need them to connect and talk to it. That's the kind of technical expertise that he can do, is connecting the technical dots, as they say. All righty. Now let's go ahead and shift gears and let's get into my monologue. Because we have Shaman Isabella coming up, and oh my gosh, she's supposed to be on here in about 2 minutes, so I'm going to go fast with my monologue. All righty, let's see. Here it is. So it's called Time, Space, Lifetime, but it's like the time, space reality of this life that we live in right now. And this is kind of I'm hoping Isabella will pay attention to what I'm saying, because I'm going to follow up and I want to get her opinions. But basically, here's the notes I made this morning to myself. Spirit is eternal. So our spirit doesn't have a beginning and end. It is. And so it's somewhere out there, and then it joins and attaches to this body during this time, space, lifetime. And then, when we transition at death, it goes back to where it came from. All right, that's the idea. Now, spirit chooses to return. So spirit has some kind of consciousness and says, I'm going to go back into the physical world and I'm going to have another lifetime. And so that's the way it works. There's like a choice spirit has. Now, somewhere along the line, forgetting occurs, and we lose the connection to that eternal spirit, and kids, like, you watch kids and they're playing and they got this like vivid imagination, and they get told, hey, you got an overactive imagination, and so they almost learn how to forget, and the physical senses, the five senses, if I can't see it, it's not real. If I can't hear it, it's not real. If I can't touch it, it's not real. And so the five senses kind of take over. And what happens is we become materialist. We rely on the senses, and we only believe what is real is what we can see, touch, taste, feel. There's one more. I'm going fast. So then this vibrational energy is what connects us to the source energy, to spirit. And how do we connect? How do we, as this physical being, connect to that source energy? That's, and that's the challenge. And that's, people go through an awakening. The awakening process is where we begin to become reconnected with it. So we forget, like after birth or during birth time, and then we go through the process of reconnecting with it. And the modern religions have all talked about this, and they all kind of create their way of achieving it. But here at Spirituality Gone Wild, and in this new movement that's occurring around the world, people are going, okay, I have to just connect directly to source myself. It's not up to, some group of people that instruct me on how to do it. It's like up to me to kind of figure it out how to do it on earth. And you've heard the phrase heaven on earth. Bruce Lipton, in The Biology of Belief, he talks quite a bit about it. He says we can achieve heaven on earth. And what heaven on earth is when there's an alignment between that physical self and that spiritual self that had been kind of lost. And so the more we can get connected with those, the better then we can achieve that heaven on earth. And then the last thing, of course, is the death, what we call traditionally death. I kind of like the term transitioning, where they say people have transitioned and they've gone from the physical life back to the spiritual world. And Abraham Hicks, just to kind of drive home the points and be disrespectful. Abraham says, I'm being disrespectful, but she calls it croaking. Hey, you croak. Of course, Esther lost Jerry and went through a couple-year period of sadness and darkness, and then until she realized that she could actually still be connected with Jerry and that sort of thing. So that's when the disrespectful part came into it. But anyway, let's just call it transitioning. So that's it. I just wanted to kind of begin to frame. I haven't talked about this before. I wanted to start to frame the time space, life that we are in here, like the physical, and then how it connects to the source. So I am guessing that Isabella has something or another to say about that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and invite her onto our show, or welcome her back to the show.
Hi,
Shaman Isabella, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm good. I have found a new location for myself. So I'm like, I wonder if this is, but
I like it.
Remember,
I like it. You got the guitar up in the corner. I can see it there.
Oh yeah, that's my living. It's my living room. But interesting. Look at the light coming through the window on the wall.
Oh,
and remember the last time we had the light in the middle of my forehead.
Yes, it was connecting right to your third eye.
Yeah. So now I'm like, oh, it's back. It's following us even to this end of the room. It is early in the morning here. I almost didn't make it.
Well, I'm glad you did. You are on the West Coast, so you have to, like, the show starts at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So I appreciate that you got up and
normally I'm up at like 5, but to be up and dressed and pulled together and have the camera and be, hi, Steve, here we are. And I even, because I had a few extra minutes, got us on my Facebook.
Oh, good.
So hopefully my people that are awake right now can ask questions in the chat box. I don't really know how that works, but I told them, if you have a question for me and we have time to answer it, we could do that.
Yep. We have Bettina just checking in from Seattle, as she often does. And
Hi, Bettina.
she says that she enjoys, she believes in writing things down. This is the idea from Brandon said. And then Brandon mentioned that, he signed up. He put the Jolly Gone Wild link in there for us.
Yay, that's such a great idea. I love that.
Yeah. And,
I love that idea.
Melanie Long, who I'm guessing is a friend of yours, maybe, but she's also in Seattle. She's checking in with us this morning. So anyway, we've got people from the West Coast. Everybody. Oh, no, Brandon's from the East Coast and I'm from the East Coast. So there you go. All righty. Well, good. So, so now there's no first time guest song that I have to play.
Oh,
sorry. It was a good one.
Okay. It's okay. It gives us more time to talk.
I would like to, just for the sake of anybody who didn't see our first show, let me read the bio of who you are, and so they'll get to know who you are, and then we'll just jump into the conversation. How's that sound?
Good.
All righty, good. So Isabella Leigh Stoloff began her shaman path in 2006, and since that time has been assisting clients in creating a high vibrational life for themselves and for their families. As an empath, she understands what it means to be sensitive to the energy around her. Using a variety of ancient healing techniques, Shaman Isabella is able to help you let go of the past so that you can learn to trust your intuition and follow your path. Chakra balancing, soul retrieval, along with spiritual mentoring are included in Shaman Isabella's healing work. She assists individuals in their spiritual growth. That's a pretty important role you're playing and helping people with. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a new client call the other day and who was also a healer. And she said, before I tell you what's going on with me, can you just tell me what it is you do? And I said, well, I can give you the keyword search engine optimization spiel, chakra balancing, soul retrieval, spiritual mentoring. Or I can just tell you, I move heavy energy. That's what I do. I am really good at helping people to, I don't know, I feel like it's remember who they are. Remember that what you were just, great segue into what you were just talking about with, we come here, we forget the past life. And why do we forget the past? Who wants to remember the past life? You have a hard enough time remembering this one, so hard enough time dealing with this one if you've had trauma. So, it is this, they are ancient healing techniques. I was trained by Dr. Alberto Villoldo and the Four Winds Society, and they are Peruvian and Amazonian and his own spirit, which then awoke something inside of me so that I created something called present day soul retrieval, where I saw the benefit of past life. The screen keeps going, blip, blip. Is it doing that on your end?
No, it's looking good on our end. So
okay, cool. So it was like, don't short circuit now. So past life soul retrieval, it is important. We do have contracts from past lives that we you could look at it as karma also, that we come to work out as a soul. But I found, that present day soul retrieval was just as important. Present day meaning, there's that one instance that you always go back to and think about from your childhood, or you might have a lot of instances because you might have had a really traumatic childhood. And some people have really great childhoods, but have a little something that happens to them, or a car accident, or I call it where you jump out of yourself. And that can even be, a small child whose big father yells at them, not menacing, but is just, I told you to do your homework, and the kid goes like this. So, because we are these little precious souls, we are these little precious beings, and through our first, as we're birthed into the universe, as we're birthed onto the planet, it's not fun, right? It's a little painful. It can become, so that could be our first trauma, is getting born here, being born here. So I know I just went all over the place. I can feel
okay. You're doing good.
I'm not on track, but it is about what you were saying. Why do we forget? And then now, how do we reawaken? So that's what's important to me, is helping people to reawaken, get that inner child back. There's a ceremony that I do for the present day soul retrieval, and it brings your inner child into your heart, brings you back into yourself, so that then you can clear your mind, begin to be more positive, stop beating yourself up, which I don't know a lot of people that don't either beat themselves up, or men push themselves so hard, to get it right, to do it this, to do that, got to get that. And I think this year of 2020 has been magical for people, can be considered. Yeah, if you've lost everything and you're homeless, I understand that doesn't seem like a gift. But even that, if we could look at that as a gift, because the vibration of what you believe right now is going to be the trajectory for the years to come. How we handled this year. How did we go inward? Did we shift our consciousness? Are we still stuck in a old negative loop, an old pattern of self-defeating prophecy?
Wendy asks a question, and it's a little bit, it's kind of back to where we started from, in terms of your bio. So let me throw it up there. But she wants to know how to get started in shamanism, and obviously there's probably a variety of ways to do it. But we can just share, a little bit about your path and how could a person give Wendy a hint on how she might get started?
Yeah, I would start looking. I have a YouTube channel. There's lots of information there. It's not all geared, just towards shamanism. There's a lot of different things there. But I really like my teacher. He wrote a book called Shaman Healer Sage. I think it's a great way to get started. Read books, get outside, sit in nature, put your back against a tree, do a shamanic journey. There are lots of different shamanic paths. Mine is Peruvian, but there's Native American, and there are Russian shamans. I'm 49% Ashkenazi Jew. I know I've got some lineage in there, but I don't believe you have to have a lineage. And I actually got, let me take that back. It is good to be connected to a lineage. I am connected to the Caro lineage of the Andes. I have had the medicine rights, the Muna Key. I installed the medicine rights. You could go look up my website for the Muna Key medicine rights. But it's funny, Steve and Wendy, I didn't do this to become a shaman. I wasn't studying to become a shaman. I found that this type of shamanism spoke to my soul and made me want to learn more. And it, like I said, it wasn't to become a shaman. So I would start there. I'd get some books. I'd look at some YouTubes. I'd feel into, and that kind of gets, thanks for that question, Wendy. It kind of gets back to your monologue, feeling into like, how do you now connect with your spiritual self? If you're not into organized religion, or if organized religion is no longer working for you, how do you connect? And I say, really, it's first the inner child work, bringing that, part of yourself, loving that part of yourself, and then getting into your heart and knowing that your God doesn't want to harm you. It's like all those old myths, like we talked about the last time, Steve, which was we're born into sin, and you have only one path to God, and you are God. You are God made manifest. So just believing that, knowing that, and treating yourself with kindness, I think will bring us all closer to where it is we want to be spiritually.
The last few weeks, and I shared this with a guest that was on last week, or actually it was in a private, it was a kind of a, it was in a kind of a group, an after out, it wasn't a public thing. It was a private group, meditation group that meets on Wednesday evenings. And I shared it. And when I first started my entrepreneurial role, I was not in it for very long. And I had a funny feeling in my chest. My heart was active in a way that it hadn't been active, and it scared me. And I ended up going to the doctor, and I had, the testing and this and that. And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's no problem. Are you under any stress?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And so anyway, it went away. And so, but what's fun is that the last month or so, I started to feel essentially that same kind of a aliveness, or like some kind of an opening up. I'm not sure how to explain it, but this time, I was startled by it. So you talked about getting connected to your heart, and it startled me, and I went, "Oh, there's something wrong."
Yeah. It's called meditation.
Instead of retreating from it, I, have been leaning into it, and I've been, when it feels a little bit scary, I, take some deep breaths and, kind of calm myself down. But there's an energy that's going on, and I've been, working these last few months and really the last few years on becoming more connected with the heart. And it finally kind of dawned on me that this is what is happening and occurring. And so anyway, I don't know if you have any, if anybody ever shared any kind of a story like that, but I thought it was, since you mentioned the heart, and we want to be heart coherent, and use it to connect with the brain. And I was so overly brain oriented for so many years. It's only in the last 10 years that I started the shifting, to allowing my feelings, because I had suppressed my feelings for years and years and years and years. I just didn't want to trust them. So.
Right. And now you're learning to trust your intuition. You're opening up your heart space. And so, of course, it's going to tingle and activate and have, whatever it is that the heart is doing. Just deep breaths, breathing into that, opening up. And then I always like to, one of my cards, I made this deck of cards. I forgot it last time, but I grabbed it this time. And one of my cards in the Good Vibes deck, it says, listen with your heart, feel with your mind. So listen with your heart, feel with your mind. If you could do that, if you could ask your heart, how do you feel right now? What are you thinking right now? Right, what would a heart think? A heart would just think love, compassion, kindness, gentleness, exuberance. A heart would just give so much, right? Where the mind wants to figure things out and tell you what to do and tell you you're not good enough and get the ego involved. And yet the mind is just like constant, right? So it's just like, hey, mind, how do you feel? The mind's like, feel? What's that? So if you can start to begin to connect, which I believe the Muna Key writes absolutely help with connecting the heart with the mind. But if you could connect your heart with your mind and balance those two, and begin to really, I'd like to take the heart. And I used to do a meditation where I took the heart and put it in the head. It's like, I'm just this big heart in my head. I don't have judgment. I don't have, all the crazy making that my mind used to do. But yeah, that's something once you start awakening like that. And meditation is great. A lot of people are afraid of meditation. I think I do a walking meditation, a doing the dishes meditation, if you can clear your mind and shift your consciousness while it's super active, that's to me a form of meditation.
Yeah. Why do you think it is that people are afraid of meditation? From your experience, what holds people back from wanting to, really lean into it and embrace it?
The monkey mind.
The monkey mind, yeah.
The monkey mind. That mind that's like constant chatter, constant chatter, constant chatter. And if you're, sitting there with a purpose of being quiet and meditating and you can't shut it off, it's no fun. Who wants to do that?
Right.
So what I teach people is to breathe through that. The mind it's not like you're not going to hear your mind, but if you could create space between that next thought, if you could create space and move that chatter to the back and just breathe through as much quiet as you can without judging the thought, then you can kind of lean into it, as you say.
Yeah. Would you, I did my monologue, and I was really kind of, my monologue became kind of the questions I wanted to ask you. And then I thought, well, I'll just throw out, the start. But, the whole idea of like returning to this time space life, is that what resonates for you? I mean, this is what I've kind of been figuring out myself. Is that tell me about what the eternal spirit, how does it exist and how does it come back and rejoin this lifetime?
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah,
The eternal spirit to come back. I have no idea, Steve.
Yeah, okay.
I do know that I believe we are but one vibrational note in the universe. So when we pass, we move out, I believe that we are still vibration. I don't think we ever stop being something, right? An orb, a spirit, whatever. I think it's still some kind of a vibe that's out there. And then we come back to rework out what didn't work in the last lifetime. So we're here to work it out. But I believe, and now this is just a theory I've come up with, that we have been stuck in a karmic loop for centuries. So somebody, hurts you in a past life, does you wrong, so you come back and you do them wrong, and then you come back and they come back and do you wrong, and then I believe I've seen it. I've seen it in past lives where there's been sort of like this loop that you've been stuck in. Now, if you don't believe in past lives, I can still talk to you because you do believe in your DNA. You do know that you're carrying your ancestors' DNA. So is the story of your ancestors in your DNA? When you have your conversation, which would be a fascinating thing to write about or to broadcast, and see the similarities with your cousins and how they're like your grandmother and you're like your grandmother or the grandfather, or the patterns that are the same. So whether it's past life and karmic, or it's DNA and a story that's locked in, as we know addiction is locked in the DNA, so could poverty, so could a vibration of lack consciousness. I don't know, but it's a fascinating thing to think about. And I know you will talk about one of my very first healings, which was when my husband passed and his spirit attached to me and I carried him around. And I think it's a perfect segue also for what you just asked me. I believe that he and I obviously were together in past lives. I don't know how many. And this lifetime was the lifetime to work that out, to move the heavy energy, So I believe there are no victims, only volunteers. I signed up for that path. I signed up to be his wife. And when he, which is a whole other story we don't need to get into today, because that's another thing. But when he was dying of cancer of the colon and I was sitting by his bedside, he took his last breath, and I believe he came into my being, into my spirit, and I carried him around for over 20 years before shamanism, helped me to release his spirit and release mine. I walked in a psychic's office one day, 10 years after he'd passed. And she said, "Who's the dead guy with you?" And I knew. And I said, oh, that would be my dead husband. And she said, well, he's very powerful. I can't get rid of him, but I can put him in a box for 6 months so you can get some peace. And it wasn't like I didn't have peace, but I did dream about him every night. We had not worked out the karma that we needed to work out all the way. I mean, I spent 12 years trying to work out that karma in the real life, but in the spiritual realm, there still needed to be more. So that vibration that I talk about hadn't quite worked itself out. It's very interesting though, because when I finally was able to release his spirit and the freedom that I felt and the freedom that he felt, and we're right around his birthday. I think it's today, actually. Today would have been his birthday. And it's interesting that we're talking about him, bless his soul. It was a rough 12 years. But I learned so much. And being able to, I don't know. I honestly, it's a wild experience. But when somebody walks in, or I now only do them over the phone mostly, but when I do my virtual sessions, I can feel if there's a dead person with the client. I'm not a medium, I'm not a psychic, but I can feel if there's a presence of someone else in the room. And I'm able to help release that spirit, that ancestor that is ready to move on.
Is it easier for you to work with your clients than it is to look at your own life and, resolve some of these things?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. It's, but what's interesting, the way spirit, if I'm about to teach a class, I have to learn the lesson first. So even if I've learned the lesson already, I've got another layer that spirit's like a whole week of me in whatever chaos, having to work my own lesson before I teach the class. And I've had clients come in where after they've left, I've gone, you're not 100% on that one yet, because I believe it's a journey. It's a journey, and I am evolving constantly. I always tell everyone I'm far from perfect. I have not got this down. Once I do, I'll be dead.
When I was coming to the end of the Forrest Gump days, and I was beginning the speaking days where I would talk about the life lessons from the movie, and I kind of created this idea of gumption and what it meant, and I defined it, made up my own idea around that. The very first thing that really occurred was the realization that I had to do all of this work on myself in order for me to be able to teach it. And it was almost like crap, this is not going to be much fun to do. And it really was a multiple year journey of exploration. And I jumped into it. I mean, I was excited to do the work because I knew that like the gumption thing was somehow important and magical and needed to be shared. But I also knew that I had to do, I had to kind of go through the process myself. And I hadn't, it literally kind of hit me like you walked into a brick wall type of thing. I didn't see that coming. I just thought I was going to be able to start talking about it. And I realized almost instantly that I needed to, do that work myself. So that's that same idea that, we end up learning what we want to teach or what we have to teach or however,
Right. And it doesn't have to be that difficult. It doesn't have to be so, because it'll make people not want to do it. It's actually quite easy and fun once you start moving energy and you're like, that story's not working for me anymore. I want to rewire my brain and I want to make my story, I want to move the energy of that story. Like, I could use, the idea of my husband and I was a battered wife. I was a drug addict. I was in this crazy life with him. But that story is no longer so heavy in my soul. And I don't regret a moment of it. And I bless it. And it's now, to me, a beautiful story. I have 2 children from him, 3 beautiful grandchildren from those 2 children. And it's all a lesson. So once we can start to like look at our lives and our stories that we think are so traumatic, oh my God, I could never tell anyone I went to prison. Oh, I could never tell anyone I was a battered wife. I can never, yeah, no, I can, because it's all good. It's all good because I came out of it with the ability to help others. So if you look at your story as like, oh my God, I cannot share my story with anyone. I don't have the gumption to, you know, be honest and share my story. No, you know how many people need that? You know, people need to be able to relate, especially right now with so much separation going on. We are one.
You talked about at the beginning of the a conversation today, heavy energy, and you said that term 3 or 4 times, and I was, you know, I was thinking I want you to define that, but you just did when you talked about, you know, the story. And, you know, that, and really it's those stories that are the heavy energy. And just by somehow, you know, talking about them or reframing them or reconnecting, you know, the story in your mind. So making that story into a different story, that's really what releasing heavy energy, as you're calling it, is all about.
Right. So talk therapy is how we started, right? You just said reframing, you use therapeutic words. And talk therapy it worked for us for a long time. But there's also a level of vibration that gets stuck to the energy field, much to like my husband that passed, that was a part of him, was with me, and the vibration of that was what I was working out, right? So you have this vibration of the story. You can change the story in your head, you can reframe it. You got to learn the lesson from it though. You can't really change the story. You got to go, what's the lesson? What did I learn here? Did I learn how to be more compassionate? Did I learn forgiveness? Did I learn kindness? But then there's also this vibration, and that's what the techniques I have lift it. There's like a lift it off the soul, and then it's a little easier for people to be clearer on how to shine light on that issue rather than continuing to poke the bear and get re-triggered, you know, which is what happens. That story gets re-triggered from our spouses, from our friends, from our, you know, cohorts, acquaintances. If we haven't done that spiritual work, that energy could get re-triggered, and then we are back in the trauma.
Let's just change gears a little tiny bit, because it's such a fun picture, and I'm going to throw it up on the screen. This is my grandmother, and 8 of her 9 children. My mother sitting just to my grandmother's left on the couch, so second from the right as you're looking at it. But 31. My grandmother had 31 grandchildren, and these first cousins were going to. We've connected. 3 of them are gone. 3 of them already transitioned. But we've managed to connect at least with either directly or indirectly with all the 28 that are still with us, and we'll see. We think maybe 10 or 15 will be there. But what's fun about it is that the connection is the one woman, our grandmother. We all shared the common grandmother. And then, of course, there's her children, and we're a product of one of the children. So I just think it's neat that, like, here's these, and it's happening because of a connection, a desire to be connected. And it probably wouldn't happen in any other year than this year, right? Because suddenly we're moving energy around, right? And so anyway, I just think it's neat. And if you want to comment, you can. If not,
yeah, no, I mean, it goes hand in hand with it. You're not really veering too far from what we're talking about. We were just talking about, you know, karma and DNA and coming together. You know, this is like we're born into a family, but not always can we relate to or stay connected with our family. So we have to go find our soul pods, I call them, or find our soul people. And you know, I think it would be very interesting to see out of all those cousins who connects with you at this level, because won't be all of them, But you might have a couple that are spiritually minded or interested in your Gumption philosophy, and see, you know, everyone's stories are different. They're going to have, it'll be very interesting. That's why I said if you could record it or write about it after, it'd be very interesting to have that many people that came from this one woman, you know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Oh, and one of my cousins was the one who suggested it, and over the years we've had a special bond and connection, so we communicate on a regular basis still. But many of them I don't communicate with on a regular basis, and so anyway, it just sort of grew, and then I was able to find the first easiest group of people to connect and to invite, and then another cousin, you know, went the next level down. So it's like been there's like you can tell already there's a desire for this. So what will happen, we'll see. So it's going to be fun.
I can't wait to hear about it. I can't wait to hear.
Well, good. And it really comes back to that idea of connection and these lives that are connected. And even though we've all grown up. I mean, there's pictures of there was a picture of like 28 of the, or 24 of the little kids. And we were all little kids. Like the oldest ones were like 12 or 13 and the youngest were just little babies being held in the picture. There's like 24 of these, 31 kids, and a couple weren't even born yet. So anyway, it's just kind of fun that we all got together and we have that connection from a long time ago. So anyway.
Yeah. And the thing is that you're very lucky to have had this, been able to stay connected, been able to, especially right now during the holidays, a lot of people are displaced or don't have that connection with their family. And so I love the fact that you're doing the Jolly
Going Wild.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are alone during the holidays. They don't have extended family, or they've got a falling out with their extended family, or there has been a level of forgiveness that hasn't happened yet. And I have a lot of people that come to me that don't want their family. It's just not a healthy environment. So, how do they then go and find their spiritual family? As my cat decided to just jump across the room. How do they find their spiritual family and their soul pods and people they can relate to, at that level and that consciousness? Because, a lot of people don't really adhere to the things that we believe in. Don't really, they think we're woo-woo. They think we're kind of woo-woo, the things we talk about.
So Melanie asks, do you have to make an agreement purse with the Peruvian shaman spirits to become a shaman? I have heard this with others to get more gifts, etc.
I have not.
You haven't made any agreement purse with the Peruvian shaman spirit yourself, so.
What's an agreement purse?
I'm not sure, but.
I need clarification on what that is, but no, I make an agreement. I make an agreement with my own spirit, with my own self. I have the Munaki rights. I have, been to the Andes Mountains and sat in ceremonies of different types, but it's all brought me back to myself. I am connected, I think, through my DNA with my Russian ancestry, probably some Mongolian in there as well. I am connected through spirit with my, sorry, of course my phone's going to go off right now. I am connected through spirit, with my, my belief system. So I think more than anything, it's not one person. It's not Alberto Villoldo. It's not the Caro shaman. It's not my ancestry. It's my belief system. What do I believe in? Highest and best good, no harm to anyone. Peace on earth. Connection with the trees. The trees are our ancestors. Connection with Mother Earth. Connection with the stars. Connection with whatever makes me personally hold the highest frequency possible, the highest vibration possible. So to make an agreement with a tribe or a no, that's not my thing. But
All right, well, good.
That helps you. I think you'll get more gifts the more you believe in yourself, the more you trust your intuition. That's where I think your gifts come from.
Wendy says that all her family is 1,500 miles away. Well, Wendy, you are invited to join us at Jolly Gone Wild on Friday and participate for for 5 or 10 minutes, or participate for a few hours. We're going to be there for 12 hours.
You can Zoom with your family, perhaps. You can do what Steve is doing.
Yeah. So this is a good year for that sort of thing, and people are opening up to it. People who said, "Oh, that Zoom thing isn't for me." Well, it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
We're opening it up.
Really quickly, Steve, unless you have something on your agenda.
No, please go ahead.
A card for the group.
Okay.
Everyone who's watching now or later. So and I wrote this cute little handbook. So inside it's like a lessons. Yep. And then it has a blank page over here. That's my thing. So that you can take notes, because I always love to write in my books. And so I gave people the opportunity to write in the book. And these are the cards. They have this beautiful gold
edges.
Yeah,
lovely.
So you hold it to your heart. And I just want to ask Spirit to come in and give us all a lesson today, a message today. These are great for meditation or for doing the inner work. Like these... for everyone on the call now and in the future. They're very intuitive. Can you see it?
I'm not be able to read it. Let me zoom in. Hold on.
Good vibes every day. So here it is.
Choose to send out good vibes every day. There it is. Choose to send out good vibes every day.
Good vibes every day. And then you would look it up in here and see. And what I just want to give is, and it's of course. So I'm just going to give one of the things that you can do. Okay. If you are feeling down, do your best to shift out of the story. So here during the holidays, if you're feeling low, your family's 1,500 miles away, do your best to shift out of the story. Imagine one of your happiest moments and raise the vibration in the room. Put on music, dance, sing, or use colors to change your mood. And I'm not going to read the rest of it, but that's my little lesson for you guys today. Put on music, dance around your house, put cinnamon in water and make your house smell like cinnamon, and then drink the cinnamon tea. It's the best thing ever, really good for your blood. But a big pot of water with cinnamon sticks in it, and you'll make your belly and your house smell good.
I love the good vibes. Choose to send out good vibes. I had my own experience as I got up early this morning, and I'm putting the Jolly Gone Wild link again there for people to sign up to join us. So we're throwing this together kind of at the last minute. We had a meeting yesterday, and I raised my hand and said, I want to be the host. I want to participate throughout, and I want to help. And I raised my hand and said, I'll be able to kind of, take a leadership role in getting things set up. And one of the gentleman who also does this type of work as a host, emceeing those kinds of things, he was going to kind of take the tail end of the day. And then he informed me, he said, hey, some other things are, I came up, I just apologize. I'm not going to be here. I will be able to be here next week, because I haven't yet mentioned we're going to do the same kind of thing on New Year's Day in 1 week. So it's going to happen again. And he's able to help then. So at that moment, I thought I could choose to be disappointed and annoyed or angry. But I thought, oh, well, and I just took it in, and I had some of those like disappointment and, and then I very quickly reframed it and thought, okay, someone else is going to step up. Somehow it's going to all work out, and, and just move on with the day. So I think we all have those opportunities throughout the day to take things that happen and to either choose to be annoyed or choose to be accepting.
And that's the quantum physics of it all. Giving it to source, bringing up the energy, shifting your consciousness. I have so many stories like that where, I could have just allowed my mind to go down into the pooper. Yep. And instead, I decided I can take this by the horns and I can shift it and make something beautiful out of it. And that's my inner creatress. How do you take your inner creator and, allow it to shine, allow it to move through your life in a more positive way.
Shaman Isabella, thank you so much for joining us. This has been wonderful. What's your card? Source told us to send out good vibes every day. What would you like to share with the audience as we say goodbye?
Do an act of kindness today, even if that is to yourself and you can't get out. Make yourself, like I said, the hot cinnamon tea or iced cinnamon tea or hot lemon water, or take a hot bath, light a candle, bring some peace into your soul. But kindness goes a long way. And if you could have one, and I don't mean money, I don't mean giving money, I mean just a smile at the market. Oh, you have your mask on, a smile through your eyes. What act of kindness? Call somebody that is alone during the holidays. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Make amends if you have somebody you want to forgive or ask forgiveness from. Start to move your own heavy energy. And until the next time.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I hope you will come back again in 2021 and be a guest with the American Gumption.
I would love to. I love hanging out with you, Steve. You bring up all kinds of cool topics, and I go all over the place, but we always end up coming back. So.
We have a bit of we have active minds, and so we
do. I gotta ask. What sign are you?
Cancer. 7/7, July 7th.
And I'm June 20th, right on the cusp.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
You're the most outgoing Cancer I know, so I would think you've got some signs in other places. It could be fun to find out because you are very active.
We'll invite you back and we can explore that.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. Well, I want to thank Shaman Isabella for joining us again and for that great conversation. And that was kind of a coaching session for me because my monologue really tied in with like things I wanted to ask about with her. And so that it allowed me to actually voice some of the ideas that I've been like formulating, but I haven't never shared before. So that was fun. And then to just have that conversation was great. Alrighty. Now, tomorrow, Nikki Roscoe joins us. This will be the last live day. I mentioned Thursday on Christmas Eve, I'm meeting with my first cousins. So that's going to be a fun day. And it's our grandmother. 31 of us were our first cousins. And, this woman had 9 children, and then those 9 children had 31 children. And we are going to get together. Not all of us, but, a good number of us will be together. I'll share how that goes next week. And then on Friday, Jolly Gone Wild. Let's go ahead and throw the banner up one more time. There we go. So spiritualitygonewild.com/jolly-gone-wild. And that's going to be an all-day event on Christmas Day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time, or 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on the East Coast. And you can join in with us, and myself and the other co-creators and the other hosts will all be, in and out throughout the day. And you're welcome to join us throughout the day. It's a free event. Please come and join us. We believe no one should be alone. So that's why Debbie G has stepped up and said, let's make this happen. And it is happening. All righty. And then next week, Brandon Schaefer on Monday. He'll probably come back on Tuesday because he doesn't want a day off. And then on Tuesday, Della Fatui, that's not an easy name for me to say. Fatui, she will be joining us. She is a host of 5 different broadcasts like this. Not like this because we're all different, but similar to this. And so she's like, she's making COVID a good thing because she's turning herself into a professional broadcaster. And then on Friday, we have a real live Hollywood actor, Walt Keller. and Walt will come on. I've known Walt for a couple of years now. He's going to come on and tell the story of how at age 40 something, maybe more, 40 something, he went to Hollywood and he has broken into the industry. And so he's going to, I've been trying to get him on the last couple of weeks and he's been busy working. So that's all good. And that'll be on Thursday, New Year. The 31st, the last day of 2020. All righty. That'll be Walt Keller. All right. That's it, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow.